Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Thanks for coming back to session 2. We're talking about how eldercare and eldercare responsibilities affects your workplace, mainly your workers. But interesting enough, it's not just your workers, it's your bottom line, because your workers affect your bottom line. So we're back here talking about, the stress. Jen, eldercare cause any kind of stress with anybody?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Yes. I'm going to tell you that one of the things that will have an employee leave their position is this stress, because it's huge.
It really is. JC, you have some stats you want to share with us?
I got a whole slew of them here, and hopefully this is going to spark some amazing conversation. So a caregiver's age on average is 49.2 years old. 34% of caregivers are older than 65, while 48% are between the age of 18 and 49. Now, I know I'm going to be throwing out a lot of numbers, but stay with me, folks. 56% of caregivers who are employed full-time, 16% work between 30 and 39 hours per week, and 25% work less than 30 hours. And parents who provide eldercare make up a whopping 82% of the entire workforce, with 71% holding a full-time job. Now, because most employers don't track caregiving status, they don't provide the necessary infrastructure to support this large segment of their workforce. And according to a Harvard study, 32% of employees have quit their job due to caregiving obligations. Back to you.
Wow. Jen, I think you have something to say about that and how maybe, your type of business can help.
Yes. So a lot of our caregivers don't really know about the resources that are available to them. There are actually entities that will pay you to stay home and care for your people. There are respite cares in which if you need a vacation, your loved one can go stay somewhere like an assisted living that they will be cared for while they're gone to help relieve some of that stress. So there's all kinds of resources. But again, this is not something that's necessarily talked about in the HR world. That is, as an HR person, if they came to you and said, I'm taking care of my mom, I need some help, what resources can you offer?
Jen, I got to jump in real quick. What is respite care? It sounds kind of fun.
Respite care is absolutely amazing. It is basically a room at an assisted living or other entity in which you can admit your parents. It's a furnished room, so they get all the care that they would in assisted living, and that would be help with showers, 3 meals a day, ensuring that they are eating properly, that they're getting their medications properly, all those things that you're doing at home, the assisted living would take over. It's like having a guardian angel.
Is it kind of like a adult daycare type situation? Like you go, you drop them off, you go to work, come back, pick them up later? Or is it they go for a week, like a vacation?
Yes, it would be like for a week for a vacation. So say you and your hubby want to go finally celebrate that 50-year whatever anniversary. And you're like, well, what are we going to do with mom? Well, we'll take care of them for a week while you're gone. And you don't have to worry about it, because those guardian angels are flying all over, making sure that they're, again, fed, showered, medicated properly, all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back, though, JC, to your question, the adult daycare is another option, too. So there's the assisted living facilities, there's long-term living facilities, there's adult daycare. And that is exactly what it is. What you mentioned, you drop them off before you go to work and then you pick them up later, and they're taking care of them for the day. Now, taking care of them also means, and Jen, you're the expert on this, but I just happen to, be greatly involved in this as well in my line of work, is it's also taking care of them mentally, that they're making sure they're interacting with other human beings and reading and playing games and, making sure that their brain is continuing to work and move forward.
Correct. Yes. So there's all kinds of activities, whether those activities are like trivia or we can't get away from bingo. Am I right? Bingo's going to be forever the thing. And you are very blessed to be able to know what that world is like as a past administrator. But yes, there's the socialization of it. So they're not just sitting in their room staring at a wall of the TV. They're meeting other people that know where they are. So they're peers that could be in the same kind of predicament per se. And I say that with air quotes because I hate to say predicament, but it's the truth. So they're able to kind of see how others are reacting in their own diagnosis of dementia or the need for a caregiver because they can't just do the things they want to do.
When we think about the workplace, and I'm going to pose this to you, Wendy, Jen, feel free to chime in though too. When we think about the workplace and this stress and strain of it all, it isn't just the physical demand and the amount of time. There's also a financial obligation as well.
Huge.
I know that absolutely. I can get vision and dental through the employer. I know that I can have my doctor's visits covered. But what about something like, boarding your parents for the week?
We're gonna talk about that in a session coming up soon here. So hang on to that question. But I had some stats that I wanted to share real quick, and I think it's interesting that as generations continue, things change. So caregivers used to mainly be the woman in a family, but now, according to lifecare.com, caregivers, the gender split is now about 50-50. And so that's good news. That's good news for the people that are listening to say, okay, we're all sharing this across the board here. But 53% of the caregivers, regardless of what their gender orientation, sex is 53% feels high levels of stress. 70% miss time at work often, 62% lost income as a result of caregiving, and 50% of caregivers who are still working report it negatively affects their careers.
It does.
It really does. HR people, we need to step it up, man. We need to step it up and we need to help our people. All right. So I'm going to wrap up this session here and we are going to be back in a little bit here and continue the conversation and go to where JC was going. I want to talk about, what can companies do to help their employees, help their elderly family members. See you soon.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.